Hello. Welcome to Tona's Table. Today is going to be a great day. Repeat after me. Today is going to be a great day. I don't care what you have been going through all day, but right now, it's getting ready to start being a great day. I am so excited about it tonight. I have an amazing guest. I told you I only like to put world changers across from me, especially as we're doing Zoom now. But of course, I need to start with Tona's update. What is going on in Tona's life? Okay, so last week I told y'all that I got the booster shot. So what I am going to say, this is a disclaimer, and I need you to listen to me and hear me when I say this. I'm not telling you not to get the booster shot. You need to be vaccinated. I just have a very hard time with vaccinations, meaning that I am still sick from last Tuesday. So I feel a lot better. I felt better, I think, on Sunday. I really felt like I had COVID. But in my defense, because I don't want people not to get it, if I get the flu shot, I get sick. If I get any vaccinations, I get sick. But this booster, felt was worse than both vaccinations all together with the COVID. Like it was bad. I'm just being honest. So I'm still congested. I'm still wheezing or whatever the case may be. But I do feel better. And I am so glad. You know what I realized? That you don't know how good you feel until you're sick. For real, right? Like I was just like, I woke up Sunday. I was like, oh, I was feeling that bad. I forgot what it felt like to feel good for that short time. For real, it was not a pretty sight. But anywho, next week would be the weekend of Saturday, December the 18th. We will continue taping our documentary Enough. Why we didn't tell part 2. I'm so freaking excited of all the warriors who are coming out sharing their stories about being sexually abused, the trauma and their survival. I can't say enough how difficult it is. I think that people think when I do this, and for those who don't know me, let me go back. Hello, my name is Tona Buck, and I'm a sexual abuse survivor and an advocate. If this is your first time looking at my show. Now, bring you up to speed. I have an organization called VOSA, Advising Over Sexual Abuse, and we are in the process right now of doing part 2 of a documentary. If you have not seen the first documentary, it's on YouTube, Why We Didn't Tell. And there were 10 warriors who told their stories about sexual abuse. Never been done in history, all African-American, because what's done in house stays in house, and we never talk about it. So why am I super psyched now? Like I was saying, December 18th, we are doing a second tape, and we did one a couple weeks ago. I want to always give a shout out to my film crew, Vigilance Media, Carl Maxwell, and Anna Brown, and of course the number one top director, Caleb from Villanova College. So I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about the women who are coming. On December the 20th, I invite you to be a part of my meeting. Boza will also be hosting their 5th annual sexual assault walk. Last year we did April the 9th, 2022. Last year we went virtual. This year we're doing virtual again. So it's a worldwide walk. If you want to help out in this endeavor, please contact me at 609-331-9931. Again, that's 609-331-9931. Boza goal is to break the silence against sexual abuse and give a voiceless and educate our children so they will not be victimized. Anything else that's going on in Tona's world? If you want to be a part of the documentary, please reach out to me too. We were looking for African American, let me say, brown and black women to be a part of this next documentary. So we need you to war with us so we can break the silence. Now, with all that said, I'm so super psyched about who's here tonight. Woo! Now, and let me tell you why I'm super psyched and why I felt it to be very important to have her on. If you have been following me, and all my social media is public. Tona Buck, Facebook is public. Tona Buck, Instagram is public. Tona Buck, Twitter is public. It's all Tona Buck and it's all public. So if you have been following me, about a month and a half ago, my daughter allowed me to tell the world that she is giving me a grandson after 32 years, the first boy in 32 years. And so I'm super psyched up because I am blessed. I already have an amazing, beautiful granddaughter, Miss Lindsay Olivia, who is the light of my life. She is absolutely perfect to me, and my son has blessed me with her. So now my daughter is going to bless me with a boy. So I have the best of both worlds. I had a son and a daughter, and now I'm going to have a granddaughter and a grandson. So I am overjoyed. But this one is a little different for me. Um, I don't know what other people's relationships are with their daughters, but I absolutely love my daughter. My world revolves around her. She has been a joy to raise. She's an amazing child. She'll be finished her master's degree next week. She's married to a guy, Carlos. She did everything I didn't do. I need you to understand I'm fourth generation teenage mother. I got pregnant at 18 with scholarships to colleges out my behind and chose to have my first blessing, my son. Changed the course of my life. It didn't destroy it, just changed the course of my life. And I would not be me if I did not have him. If she didn't come along. I say all the time that my son saved me because I was crazy. My son saved me. And my daughter changed my character because I knew I needed her to be better and different than me, considering all the stuff that I went through growing up and being my trauma. I wanted to try my best to raise two amazing kids. And I always tell people they don't never have to be perfect to you, but they're always going to be perfect to me. And I'm sick as a dog, meaning that my daughter is, oh my God, probably 18 hours away from me. So when she first told me she was pregnant, I probably lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm being honest. When I stress out, I am a non-eater. I could not eat. I could for the whole first trimester. I could not eat. I could not sleep. I could not because she was. The lesson is we could FaceTime each other, whatever, but I'm not there. So when she went through the first trimester, she was like very sick, and I was not there to be with her. And I know she has a wonderful husband, but it is nothing like a mother love. And the whole time I was just anxious and I had anxiety because I just wanted to make sure that she was okay. And unless you got a daughter, you don't understand what that feels like. And I don't know if you got a daughter, you don't understand what it feels like. But I love my daughter immensely. So I had a difficult process of not being with her for the first trimester. And so also because I knew that she was kind of nervous because she had never been a kid person. Not for nothing. I didn't think I was going to be a grandma, period, because both of my children was like, I don't want to have kids. And I was like, okay. I had came to the conclusion that I would be okay if they didn't want to have kids because, of course, I'm 25 forever anyway. So I would have been okay with that. So in the process of me telling my daughter that I was anxious because of her pregnancy, she always analyzing me. She said that I am projecting my trauma of having a baby onto her. And she never lied. And I'm going to say this story real fast, but then I'm going to tell you why it's important why I have my guests here. Because at this point, my daughter is, like I said, married, starting her family, and all her friends are also married and starting their families, and they're pregnant or they just had a baby. But my experience was different because, again, I told you I was a teenage mother, and I remember being in high school and I was in a PAM class. PAM was preparing, I don't know what the acronym is, but it was preparing us to be mothers, and all the pregnant girls was in the class. And I had a really good teacher, and I was the first one that was like, we need Lamaze because I don't understand what's going on. And she was like, well, we never had a Lamaze before. And I was like, well, you never had this teenage girl pregnant in your class before. And so we got somebody to bring teach us Lamaze. And she taught me, like she walk me through, walk all of us through what labor was supposed to look like, right? And so I felt comfortable. I was nervous, obviously, because I was a kid, but I felt kind of comfortable with what she had taught me. Let me tell you, child, nothing she said happened. Nothing she said happened. When I said I had the worst pregnancy from hell and I had the worst birth, I'm gonna give you a little snippet and then I'm gonna introduce you so you can understand why Alaina is so important to be on my show, especially because my daughter, her friends are pregnant right now. The whole last trimester, I'm in and out the hospital, in and out the hospital, in and out the hospital. I was blessed that I had a midwife. I was blessed that I had a midwife because I had so many complications. I couldn't gain weight at the beginning. I had to take it short. My whole pregnancy, I gained about 13 pounds. But I was also stressed out. That's a whole nother issue. I was stressed out, also being pregnant for many reasons, being a teenager, being a baby dad drama. It was crazy. So now it's the week before I have this baby. Let me go back. A month before I had the baby, they had to stop my labor. I went into full labor. They was able to stop my labor. So they sent me home. And about 3 weeks later, I went in labor again. But I kept going back to the hospital. I kept saying it's pressure, it's pressure. I couldn't really sit down. And they kept sending me back home. And so the day that I went into labor, I just remember as clear as day. It was a Friday morning. It was about 7 o'clock. I got up and I went to the bathroom. I saw the little sprinkles of blood in the toilet. And I went to go back and lay down. As soon as I laid down, God is my witness. My feet were straight up in the air. The first contraction hit me from the door. And so I'm looking on the bed, right? It's a little spot of water. My water had been leaking that whole week. Mm-hmm. So by the time I had this baby, I had no water. And so that caused me to have a dry birth. And mind you, at 18, I have no clue what a dry birth is. So now my mother, because I'm still living with my mother, and my mother is like, can I drive you to the hospital? And I am screaming in pain. I'm like, call the ambulance, I'm dying. That was for the first contraction, girl. So you know I'm not good. So just think about that first contraction was that bad. How the rest of the labor went. So she's going through the lights and speeding, get me to, because I was living in Hamilton, and the hospital's at Mercer all around West Trenton. So she's speeding through the lights and she gets me there, and instantly my fever starts going up. My midwife comes in. She did not leave my side the whole time. My fever going up. They trying to figure out what's going on. By the time it was time for me to push my son out, the 2 doctors were in my room. My midwife was in my room. About 3 or 4 nurses was in my room. The whole pediatric staff was in my room. All I remember my mom saying to me at the very end, because he was in my my birth canal for like 4 hours, just sitting there in dry birth, just dry. And so, and I kept throwing up. It was a horrible pregnancy and a horrible labor. So all of a sudden at 5 o'clock comes around, and I hear my mother come out the hall. They call my mother into the hallway, and I hear my mother coming back into the room before the door closed. And I remember her clearly saying she had to sign paper. She said, "I don't care if the baby dies." She said, "I need you to save my daughter." That's how bad it had gotten. So needless to say, I have anxiety thinking about my daughter being pregnant, right? I had no clue at 18 that that's how my labor was going to pan out. Especially considering I had a PAM teacher who was teaching me this really nice process that was going to happen, and it did not happen. The blessing was that we both made it, thank God, and we had to stay in the hospital for a while afterwards because I ended up having all types of infection, and he had infections because I had infections. So it wasn't a really good labor, and I believe today that the reason why both of us are still here was because I had a midwife. And so with all that said, that's my transition to introducing this beautiful, gorgeous, talented, awesome young woman, Alaina Snell. Broach, welcome. Thank you for being on Tona's table. Please introduce yourself.
Yes. Well, first, thank you so much, Tona, for having me on, and good evening to everyone out there who's tuning in to listen to us. I'm so glad y'all joined us. So, yes, my name is Alaina Snell Broach, and I am, here from originating Trenton, New Jersey, born and raised. I am a single mother of 4 who I'll get into too. I had all of them blessed at home, which is of my journey and story of why I am here as a midwife. But yes, all 4 of my babies were home births. I had the water, I had standing up, I had on my bed, and I also had in the tub again. So that's something, another story. But born and raised here, I am the CEO and founder of Ahavah Birth and Beyond. And also my nonprofit is Ahavah House Global Services. And my focus here, I've been doing birth work here for over 20 years now. Primarily started out as a doula back in 1997. And then in 1998 is when I got certified. So I myself and Miss Kenya Samad, who is just a phenomenal nurse, I mean, and more, okay? The two of us were the first Black-owned doula companies or services here in really New Jersey, for the southern part of New Jersey and central. Um, and so it was our company that really came forward. We supported, we're here for Black and Brown families, but because I have also a background in social work, so I am a licensed social worker. So I have my master's and then I went on for licensing. A part of that, I saw that as Black women were going forward in their pregnancies, it's not just Black women, but you could also have other types of social challenges. Like you can have Black women with addiction, domestic violence, such and such. And so I saw a need to not just have a service that supported us and surrounded us in love, which is what Ahavah means. It means God's unconditional love in Hebrew. I saw the need to fill in the gap with the support of these services around relationships. Everyone, when you're in this, like you just described, Tona, it is a vulnerable place to be when you're pregnant. It's a vulnerable state and place of your time. It's a very crucial and very important time, and you need to have support. You need to have important, knowledgeable people who are aware of the process, who can share with you the do's, the don'ts, some positivities of how to get through your pregnancy successfully, and then prepare you for birth, prepare you for labor. So I sought to go on to school for that. And so I created my nonprofit around that and served many organizations, well, with many organizations here in Trenton, to work with this population and primarily, again, as I said, to work with our people. So primarily what I like to do is make us aware because it's like you said, I am not going to lie to you that birth in itself, it doesn't matter where you are. Birth is unpredictable, okay?
Yes.
But I want to also say to you though that with preparation and with proper knowledge, you can prepare yourself and you can avoid a lot of the problems that we face or that will entail or encounter during the pregnancy that then lead to complications during the time of labor. Okay. So I really want to say that because I feel like there's a stigma out here that just says if you're Black or brown, you are automatically dying in childbirth. And I got to speak to that because, um, I feel like God is not a person of wanting us to be afraid. He created birth for us. He is the creation and creator of birth. Okay, period. And I don't know, everyone's beliefs are different and that is respected. But for me, that is what I follow and understand. And so I know that he says he didn't create us with a spirit of fear. And so I'm not putting that out there to tell you that in itself you can't have a successful birth outcome. I think there's more stories of successful birth outcomes really out here, but I think it's just sexy and it's just popular. And there's also a motive behind trying to get Black and brown families to really fear in the birth experience. Okay. So definitely understanding too midwives, and I'm so happy that you had her. By
Girl, you don't understand. That changed the whole game. I don't know. I would don't believe that I would have been here if I didn't have a midwife. I'm just being honest. Because the doctors were so busy that when I would complain, they would not take my complaint seriously. And so the midwife would, like, cause she was following me, she was with me through the whole transition. You know what I'm saying? The doctors only saw me like once a month, blah 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 blah. But she understood what I was like. She knew I was having complications from the very beginning of the pregnancy. So
yeah,
I did appreciate that. Can I ask you a question really fast, Alaina? What is a doula like? Because I had no clue. I need to let you know. I'm 25. My son is older than me. I'm gonna just put that out there. And so I had never even heard of a doula until about maybe 4 years ago, when one of my BFF's sister is a doula, and I was like, well, what in the world is a doula? What is a doula?
Yes. So a doula is a trained professional. She's trained in the stages of childbirth and pregnancy. She's trained as far as informational support, emotional support, physical support through comfort measures throughout the process of labor. And then she's also going to obviously then be there to support you all through that process. She's either with you at your home or and then meeting you at the hospital. And all doulas vary, so some will meet you at home and labor with you at home and go with you to the hospital. Some are just straight to the hospital, but they are understand they're only providing you with, well, I won't say only because this is very, very private uh, type of experience to have a doula. And I'm so glad that, New Jersey has now moved in such a way with First Lady Tammy Murphy and that whole movement that happened, which I was a part of training, our first Trenton doulas collaborative that we have. That was through my organization of Ahavah. And
Um,
I brought those women in and trained them. So, but point being, yes, you're getting informational support that you need to know, be well informed about what's happening in your pregnancy, because like you said, you were 18. What did you know what was happening?
Nothing.
You know? So, and then she's going to go with you to your prenatal visit. Doulas do that. They go with you to support you because you said a key thing, Tona. You said that the doctor didn't listen to you. The doctor didn't hear you. And so many times today when we're going to the doctor for these visits, doctors are not taking the time. And you can't blame them in some ways because they're on this rotation. They don't have the time. You're in and out there like moving cattle through there.
Job.
Okay.
It's their job.
It's right. So they're not necessarily having the time to listen and really delve deeply. Whereas midwives, we do. We have the time. But also and I'll get into that, the differences of our system that we utilize. But also I want to bring up right now too, there's a book I want y'all to also know. This has been out. This is not a new book, okay? But it's called Medical Apartheid, okay? And this book, and it is primarily by Mariette A. Washington. So this book speaks about what you said, Tona. It gives the historical understanding about why they don't listen to us as Black and brown. It gives the history.
Says it all the time.
Yes.
They don't listen to us. They don't understand. They don't understand us. It's important to have doulas that know you from your culture for real, because every culture is different. I'm put that out there. Every culture is different, and my daughter just found a doula. Let me ask you a really quick question. What recommendations would you suggest because I told you all of them are having babies now? What recommendations would you suggest as they are looking for, because they all want doulas, because this is a doula age. But also you said something key too. When I was 18, we didn't have the internet. So now I think they have too much information. Does that make sense? Like they know it's so many pages, and she be coming back talking about the reason why my hip spreading is called this. I was like, listen, I think I was just better off when I just been through the pregnancy and not really knew what was going on, because I'm getting anxious and I'm not even carrying a baby. Like it's uncomfortable and the baby is on this side and now you can't sleep on that side and now you can't eat this and now I'm just like, wow, it's blowing my mind. It's so much information now. So what recommendations would you give these amazing young women who are getting ready to be pregnant or pregnant right now or just had a baby? How would they find a good doula? Like, what is a good doula? The qualifications, what should they look for?
Yes. So the qualifications, she should definitely have had some type of training, from a reputable certification organization. Now, depending on whether, you want someone who's based in our culture, there's a particular certifying and training doula program that has that. So then you would look for a doula from that particular certifying group. Otherwise, there's plenty, and you're looking for her to see what is she offering you? What are her packages look like? And within her packages, is she coming to do childbirth education with you? Is she going to offer you breastfeeding education? Is she going to listen to what your birth vision is and help you develop that? You want that. You want her to be attentive to your traditions, your culture, and spiritual beliefs. And now, honestly, nowadays, you want to ask if she has been vaccinated or not, if that's your choice. That's something to, ask about. You also want to know how far away she is from you, because when labor starts, you want her getting there to you. Primarily we come at a certain point in time. We don't come at the very, very beginning, but we do eventually come, once contractions are a little bit closer and longer apart. So you want to know that. You want to know her cost, and you want to know her postpartum.
Are they expensive?
No. Okay. Put it this way: if we can spend for our hair, and excuse me, because obviously but if we can spend
$200, $300,
$500 for our wigs and our weaves and whatever else you can spend for the doulas. Doulas cost anywhere from $400 to $1,000.
Is that the whole process up until the baby's born?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The whole process, even including her postpartum care.
Okay.
But some doulas, let me say it right. Find out if she just a birth doula or just a postpartum doula, or is she both? Okay, because that's a difference too. So these things, when you're interviewing the doula, you want to find out what her beliefs are about birth. Because if you're someone who knows, hey, I'm not going to get through this naturally. Okay, well,
that's my daughter.
How does she feel about getting, supporting you after you've had an epidural? Is she gonna, or is she gonna be out the door? Or the opposite. Maybe you're one to do it natural. You're like, I don't want any medication. I don't want an epidural. So is she going to be able to support you all the way through whatever that looks like for you naturally? So you want to find out her philosophies and her ideas and beliefs. That matter.
How many babies have you delivered?
I, at this point, have delivered close to 100. Close to about 100, 105.
So let me tell you what's funny really fast. I remember because you so once you have a baby, you think that you a big girl. I'm not. So my crazy behind went into the birthing room twice. The video, girl, the first time, I think I was telling you this story. The first time I took my crazy behind in there, I had nightmares. Girl, for like a week. And then the second time, the girl kept telling the girl who was videotaping. No, it was like 3 times. I think it's 2 or 3, but the one particular time I remember it, the girl kept telling the nurse, she was like 8 centimeters, and she was like, this baby coming. This baby coming. And the nurse is walking around. The doctor is nowhere in sight. She kept saying, I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. It's her first baby. She's like, but this baby is coming. And so I'm videotaping her, right? Girl, God is my witness. That little head popped out. I screamed. I screamed. The nurse came over, caught the baby coming out. Girl, all you saw was the camera. That's almost bad. Alaina, I applaud you. I almost passed out. All you saw was the camera going up in the sky. I was like, girl, this was traumatic. I was like, it's coming. That little head was just, girl, birth is amazing. I appreciate all you do, especially being African American. We need you and we need all midwives. My midwife was not African American. She was about to die. Listen, but we need y'all. Like, I don't think people understand the important roles. Do you know the statistics? I'm just asking because I think Tayana, my daughter Tayana, hey Tayo, I think she was because she is like I told you, these millennium kids, they are a plethora of internet knowledge. But she was saying the percentage of Black and brown people who do have complications in labor are much higher than others. You know that the percentage of the difference, and I know you gave us some reasons why at the beginning, because a lot of stuff because we're in family, because I was in a bad relationship that caused me to be stressed out, which caused my whole pregnancy to be, at that time. So we do have a lot of other things, but do you know the percentage of how many compared to the other people, other cultures around the world? Other races around the world, brown and Black people are affected by challenging labors and deliveries.
So, what research has said is that we are 10 times more likely to die. We are 10 times more likely to have more complications than white women, as well as other races. And I have to tell you, there's a reason for that outside of, yes, our social challenges. Again, sharing some history with y'all so y'all can go look it up yourself. That's me. You gonna go do your own research so you can see it. Historically, understanding that some of us were already here, okay, get this, as Aboriginal and Black people, as Native Americans and such, okay? So we were already here, but majority of being enslaved people coming here, our wombs, our births, our reproductive system, understand it was a commodity, okay? So on these American lands, they depended on our womb to produce our babies to work in the fields so that we could produce cotton, so we could produce, money then to support. So the system, you have to understand, wasn't made for us. It wasn't made to support Black and brown bodies to begin with. Now, that being said, you've heard a lot over the year or two about racism being one of the main causes to why we're having infant and maternal mortality deaths. And like you said, Tona, doctors aren't necessarily listening. Okay. So this is a part of it. This is a spirit. This is a type of systemic issue. Okay. But get me right. It's not something that's going to change. All right. It's not going to change. And so I'm going to spend time harping on that so much as empowering you all just to know that educate yourself, making lifestyle changes now, lifestyle choices and changes before pregnancy. So
can you give me an example, Alaina, because I have some of my babies who just got married. What can they do to prepare themselves to get pregnant?
yes.
It's so funny to ask that really fast because all I had to do was say hi, and I got girl. Like when my daughter told me she was planning a baby and her friends were planning a baby, and then she had something that was oops, but still married type of pregnancy. And now I'm just like, what does that feel like? I said hi. The guy was across the street, and I was like, I'm pregnant. They didn't have to all they had to do was look at me, girl. And I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Girl. So I always make that joke, but seriously, there was no planning. You young, you just it's like a rap, you just get pregnant. But these women are good. What are some suggestions that you can give some women now who are trying to get pregnant or ready or know that they're ready to start a family?
Okay, well, you said something key too. Okay, you said in your situation it was like boom, here I am, I'm fertile, I just said hello. Okay, well, I'm going to address it as in all of us, whether we're boom, hello, here you go, or you're now in a committed relationship and now you're family planning and so forth. You have to be conscious minded about how you're doing it. The same way we research cell phones, the same way we'll research our car before we buy it, you need to research your partner that you're choosing, number one, to have sex with. That's first and foremost. Number two, if you are already in a dating relationship or engaged relationship, you all need to know and discuss what's your medical history, because it's him just as much as it is her. So we have to stop looking at it as separate and just trying to say it's just the woman's side. No, it's our men's side too that
Hello.
goes into, this production here. Then you want to move into your health and well-being, lowering your stress. Okay. So you want to start with de-stressing, decluttering your life. That can start with as well fitness and working out. So that's the physical outside. But truly, Tona, the true trauma of it all that affects your pregnancy and birth is what's going on in your inside. So
Okay.
your womb, okay, our womb, below our navel, below our belly button, that's our creative space. And believe it or not, when we have trauma, Tona, that's where it's held.
I believe it.
It's
Oh,
held.
I believe that.
Yes, it is. So sometimes we need to get into some counseling or some therapy to work through some things. Sorry about that.
That's
We
okay.
also have to, some of us need some body work, meaning some massage. You need to begin to like detox. And then while you're detoxing, start taking a prenatal vitamin. Okay. I'm suggesting that you make sure it's a natural based prenatal vitamin that's like high in iron, folic acid. You want to look at if you can't take a pill, there's liquid out, but you want to take it now, even
Okay.
before you're pregnant. You want to start taking it now. Because you have to think of it this way. By the time you're pregnant, you're like behind the game. You're behind the ball. Okay. So if you're being conscious to say, I want to be pregnant. So now you're taking the prenatal vitamins now. You're researching who your care provider is going to be now. Okay. So look up the midwives, look up doctors and OBs. And I have to be honest and say this too, because there are some OBs out here that are really great OBs. Okay.
Yes, I have had wonderful ones.
Yes. Okay. So whether it's your choice to have an out of hospital birth, which is what the type of midwife I am in that, you seek home birth midwives. If you want to have an in hospital birth, but you want a midwife in the hospital, you want to seek out CNMs. Okay. Those are certified nurse midwives who primarily work in the hospital. Or you want to go seek out the birth center midwives. Okay. And the birth center is like a home feeling with a hospital type framework. Okay. So if you're kind of like, I'm not that brave, then I'm gonna be totally out in my home.
Bless you, girl.
Okay.
Or at home, no, ma'am.
Which is just as beautiful, and we are just as trained, if not more, because we're out of the hospital, all right, to care for you. But if you want that middle ground, that's where you want to seek a birth center. All right. If you want the hospital, seek out hospitals that are really baby friendly, like
Yes.
true baby friendly hospital. What does that mean? They are going to let you birth as you need to. When you're bringing in that birth plan and you're giving it to the nurses at the station, you're letting them know who you are, who your family is, and your birth choices. So most of them now embrace it and they'll listen to what your desires are as long as it's not medically warranted for an emergency.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay? Because I do see sometimes people try to come with legalized documents for the hospital, notarized, saying, "Well, this is my birth plan, and you got to follow it." And no, they don't have to follow it because once you're inside, you become the property, the baby, the
Yeah.
of the hospital.
Papers.
Right.
So let me ask a question, Alaina, because we are running out of time. How
Yep.
can people get in contact with you if they want more information? If they want to be a doula in New Jersey, if they want, because that's why I love. That's why the one thing that I love about virtual, that people can connect all over the world if they need. And I cannot leave it without saying thank you, Joseph, um, from Gratitude Unfiltered. If you have not seen him yet, he has given me the opportunity to have this platform with over half a million people in 36 countries. So if you have not checked him out, Gratitude Unfiltered, please go check him out. Again, Vigilance Media. If you need anything done, how can people get in touch with you, Sweetie Pie? If they have more questions about picking a midwife, or because I'm sure you'll be open to helping people if they just have a question or concern about the pregnancies.
Yes, I do coaching as well, life coaching. I provide other services as well with birth preparation and other types of well woman care, especially postpartum. So many. So you can contact me via phone at 609-789-3154. Again, that's 609-789-3154. Ahavah Birth and Beyond is how you can also find me. Ahavah Birth and Beyond. I have a Facebook page, or Ahavah Doula Services. I have a Facebook page. And Ahavah is AHA, V as Victor, AH. Okay, and again, my name is Alaina Snell Broach.
I love
Um,
it.
on
I
Facebook,
love it.
on Instagram,
Yes, that's right. Say your name again, girl. All of them, right?
as God's midwife, a midwife for the glory of God. And that's my signature.
I love it. So let me just say really quick, then I'm gonna get off this. I'm gonna leave. My first labor was really bad. The second one was too. I thought I was Jesus being sacrificed on the cross both times. But anyway, the second time I had an African doctor though. That's
Mm,
why I said I did have a male African doctor, and he was no nonsense, really good, and he was amazing. So both of them was traumatic, just in different ways. Um, and I'm grateful again. I had a midwife both times too. So y'all are very important, Alaina. What you do, the services that you provide for these women, families, it's very important. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna make sure I send this to my daughter, so if she has any questions, I want her and her friends to reach out to you. For
yes.
those again, if you are a sexual abuse survivor, do not forget. If you want to tell your story, I want to give your voice to war, brown and black women. Contact me 609-331-9931. I thank you again, Alaina. I'm just proud of you, girl. That's all I'm gonna say. I am so proud of you.
Although she's only 25, but she knew me when I was 17.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
But she's only 25. But when I was 17, then that's when Tona knew me. Okay.
So,
So,
to see the growth, to see this beautiful, awesome, phenomenal lady sitting next to me and all her accomplishments, I am deeply proud of you. I tell people that my job is to shine the light on those who are doing amazing things, and it was my honor to shine a light on you tonight. And after postpartum, I'm saying after birth, I may have to bring you back so we can talk to my daughter again and to all her friends through the process. But I would love to have you back on in 2022. Again, I thank you. I thank y'all for watching. I look forward to seeing you next. Do I look forward to see? I don't think I look forward to seeing y'all next Wednesday because I got parent teacher conferences. So I probably play something, but I have a whole list all the way up to the end of February of world changers that's going to come on Tona's table. So again, thank you. I appreciate you watching. I love you. Have a blessed week and be safe. Bye.
bye.
Bye, Linda. Thank you, sweet pie.
You're welcome, Tona. Love you. Thank you. God bless.
You too, sweetie. Oh, it's not ending because I need to.